Hi, I'm Ken Stable with Ropestone Fitness. I've been getting a lot of questions lately about how to train for the Tough Mudder and the Spartan race events. And the thing about training for an endurance event, whether it's cycling or an Ironman competition or a marathon, is that you want to train specifically for your event. And these Tough Mudder and Spartan races are typically done up and down mountains, which means you need to have really strong legs that have a lot of endurance. So I'm going to give you some quick tips about what to do in the weight room as far as giving your legs that endurance you need to climb mountains continuously, because you're going up and down the mountain continuously throughout the whole race. Okay, the first thing I'm going to show you is the lunge walk. I'm going to show you a few different variations of the lunge because lunges closely mimic climbing mountains. And you want to get as close to climbing mountains in the gym as possible because that's what these races are all about. Remember, on the lunges you want to keep your core tight and your knee behind your toes or right over your toes. Okay, the next thing I'm going to show you is called a stationary lunge, a plyometric lunge, or a standing mountain climber. People call it different things, but basically the motion goes like this. You get in a stationary lunge form, you lunge down, and you jump to switch feet. You can also do this exercise holding dumbbells to make it harder, or you can grab like a punching bag, you pick up and you sling over your shoulder, you can switch from side to side. You can adjust it basically to suit your exercise needs, whether it's a superset without weights or a main exercise with weights. Okay, the last lunge I'm going to show you is the TRX balance lunge. What this does is it strengthens your knee a little bit more, the intrinsic muscles in there, because you're going up and down hills that have mud in some parts, a lot of parts. That's why it's called the Tough Mudder. So you want to make sure your knee is as strong as possible so when you're going up and down a hill and you grow tired, you don't slip and blow your knee out. What you're going to do is you're going to hold on to these handles, and one leg is going to stay forward in the lunge position, and you're just going to lunge back, and you're balancing on one leg. Make sure your knee is over your toes, not in or out, and you're going to come up and down. And this is more of an endurance workout for most people. So you go from one leg to the other leg. You want to really burn your quads out. Again, you can do it as a superset after a hard exercise, or you can precursor easier exercise with this, such as the wall sit. Okay, like the jumping lunge, I'm going to show you a jumping squat. And all squats are good for anything really, for a full body strengthening, but the jumping squat really burns out your quads. And you can do it two ways. You can do it the air squat, or you can grab a ball, like a medicine ball, you can hold it, just for that added stress. Okay, last thing for your legs, I'm going to show you the bag pull. I just have here a heavy bag that I put a rope on, but the best thing to use would be a sled if you have access to one. Sleds are more versatile, less of a pain, but I have a bag, so I'm going to show you the bag pull. Okay, that was the bag pull and the bag push. It really burns your quads out. Remember, the whole goal is to really burn them out for that endurance. Again, you can add it onto exercise as a superset. You could do it by itself. You can add weight onto your sled if you have a sled, or you could even have somebody sit on your bag if you had a bag. So try to mix it up and be creative with it, but these will give you the basic tools to really work your legs specifically for the Tough Mudder and the Spartan race events. Okay, here we are. I found this hill next to my house. It's a road hill. The best thing you can do is hill sprints in the woods or better yet, up a mountain, up and down like a ski lodge. Right now the snow is melted, you can give access to it. And that's where most of these races are taking place, but I don't have that near me, so I found this hill and I'm going to run up and down. It's a small hill, so what we're going to do is we're going to mix in some of the stuff we talked about earlier. As you can see, I incorporated maximum potential hill sprints with some of the exercise I talked about earlier into the workout. So I hill sprinted up, I did jumping squats, I lunged down to kind of give you that deceleration, which is hard in the mud. And then when I got down here, I did some more jumping squats. You could substitute that with burpees or anything else that you can incorporate with a full body cardio / anaerobic workout. Okay, so those are my quick tips on how to build strength and endurance in your legs in the weight room and how to apply it to some sprint training outside. A couple things before I go though, I want to make sure you're on the right track. These are races, so you need to be running. You need to be running long distances unless you're running one of the 5K ones. And you need to be running up and down the mountain and in the mud. So 2 to 4 weeks before your event, if you don't have access to mountains regularly, try to get to a mountain, even if it's a small one, and just run up and down. You want to get used to that terrain so you don't resort in a stress fracture or a strained ligament or a sprain or anything like that. And the mud is important. You also don't want to be running down a mountain in mud for the first time during the race. You're all into it and then all of a sudden you slip and you blow out your knee. You want to try to get out on a rainy day to a trail where there's a lot of dirt and run in that mud as much as possible and get used to that too. So good luck on your event, and as always you can email me if you have any questions at ken@ropestone.com or go to www.ropestone.com and just send me an email.